Simone de Beauvoir is remembered mostly as a feminist, but beyond that she was also a philosopher and an existentialist. Even her feminist writings related back to the heart of existentialism, the human struggle to be free. This was the main idea behind Beauvoir's work. She was part of the so-called second wave of feminism, which focused on sexuality, family and workplace roles, and reproductive rights. Her highly acclaimed work, The Second Sex, focuses on women as the other, an existentialist idea. The other is the idea of one being wholly separate, completely different from the remainder of society. She believed that a woman's role is not genetically assigned at birth, but rather socially constructed. Think of it like this. You are born into a family whose careers have always revolved around law. Based upon one major characteristic each person has at birth, the rest of the family decides whether they should be a lawyer or a paralegal. The lawyers, of course, are thought to be superior because they can do more, are more respected by society, and make more money. As soon as you are born, your family knows that you will have to be a paralegal. Less freedom, less respect, less pay. But you don't want to be a paralegal. Heck, maybe you don't want to be a lawyer either. You just want a career that makes you happy, as well as allows you to have equal freedom, equal respect, and equal pay. De Beauvoir would say that conforming to your family's wishes would make you inauthentic, the worst crime in existentialism. To be authentic, you must be true to yourself. It is your family's ideals that dictate who you should be, and to Simone de Beauvoir, our society is exactly like the family. Men are the lawyers, and women the paralegals. It is culture that shapes our ideas of femininity, not birth. As she said, one is not born, but rather becomes, a woman. Another idea Simone de Beauvoir focused on is the ambiguity or uncertainty of life. She believed that there were three ways to approach dealing with this uncertainty, but only one true way. These three ways are known as nihilism, seriousness, and the adventure, the latter being the right way for existentialists. Let's think of these as characters from Harry Potter: Severus Snape, Peter Pettigrew, and Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort. Snape is the nihilist. In a never-ending spiral of obsessive depression following the death of Harry's mother, Lily Potter, it seems that Snape finds no meaning in life. Thus, he withdraws from society and from himself, completely separating himself mentally from the world. This is the way for the nihilists to protect themselves from life's uncertainty. Beauvoir saw this as the weakest of all three ways, being completely inauthentic. She believed that the world must be justified by each person, using their own freedom. Peter Pettigrew, that creepy guy who can turn himself into a rat and betrayed Harry's parents to Voldemort, follows the path of seriousness. He begins as a friend of James Potter and others, happy to go to school and content to follow the rules without question. Eventually, though, he begins to question the hierarchy of his friendships and becomes rebellious. This is what leads him to the betrayal of James and Lily. When he realizes he really is meant to be a follower rather than a leader, he searches for a group that will take him in and give him rules to follow once more. In this case, it's Voldemort's Death Eaters. In the real world, one following the path of seriousness would turn into a structured organization with easy beliefs to follow, like a church. The progression is from obedient child to rebellious teen and then to obedient adult. Though the adult is mature enough to disregard the values and beliefs they once clung to as a child, they choose instead to pretend the same values and beliefs are true rather than face the world. As de Beauvoir put it, it is like a woman who, while reading a love letter, pretends to forget that she sent it to herself. Finally, Tom Riddle is the adventurer. Generally considered by all to have no morals or values in life, he not only likes but embraces this. He likes that life is uncertain and that he can make it his own, good or bad, whatever he chooses. Obviously, we know how that turns out. He does not care how his life affects others and is completely indifferent to the world. To de Beauvoir, this was true existentialism and the most authentic way to live.